极端，有时阵伊会足顾伊家己，感觉讲我足可怜；有时阵伊拢完全无照顾伊家己，但是过久了，伊嘛感觉伊足可怜。一个人若感觉家己可怜吼，伊的人际关系都已经出问题啊，伊的婚姻也已经出问题啊。因为婚姻是一个亲密的关系，是当你咧牺牲家己的时阵，你嘛得到一个满足。啊，这种功夫哦，爱在团体中间爱来练。所以一个人爱去下校，这真要紧；一个人去教会真要紧；一个人参加这个社区的活动做义工，一个人参与社会，这真要紧。因为吼，要练这个功夫吼，爱练差不多20年啊。所以为什么上帝无互咱3岁就结婚，5岁就结婚？因为这功夫你爱先练。所以通常是20几岁了后，而且差不多练会到。哦，伫一个团体中间，你也好，我也好，我牺牲的时阵，我无感觉吃亏，我感觉我本来就应该牺牲，所以甘愿牺牲，享受这个牺牲，这种人性吼爱对付，啊，这个部分呢，真正爱靠信用。信用基本上就是帮助一个人唔通掠家己做中心，全世界敢若拢为着你，这种罪性吼，人讲这叫做罪哦。这种罪性吼，在信用的中间呢，会通互上帝甲你瞧，会通互上帝安尼甲你调整。当上帝甲你调整了后呢，你就发现讲，其实有时阵牺牲一点啊，嘛是足快乐的代志啊。所以东主君拢知影啦，助人呢为快乐之本。当一个人来样帮助别人，伊袂记得伊家己的时阵吼，伊就快乐啊。所以有一种治疗的方式吼，都是帮助这个病人吼，当伊咧足艰苦的时阵吼，你甲转移伊的注意力。当伊若去看别人的需要时阵，伊会袂记你家己的艰苦。所以真侪残障朋友也是弱势的团体，你唔通一直互伊钱，一直互伊钱，你愈互伊，就愈感觉我足可怜，我足可怜。然后你讲啊，你是弱势的团体吼，哦，你足可怜的，你足可怜的吼。后来吼，社会学家发现讲，安尼唔好。因为伊会愈来愈感觉我需要帮助，伊愈来愈感觉讲我无法度家己独立，安尼要安怎？所以是安怎？因即摆拢会鼓励即个什么阳光基金会啦、喜憨儿做面包啦，都是这个原理。你要帮助一个人，伊要知影讲我无遮可怜，哦，我无遮悲哀，我嘛是会当徛出来，哦，我虽然甲你无共款，就算我是残障，就算我是某一个弱势。甚至讲我智能比较较弱，那又怎么样？嘛不要紧，哦，你唔通甲家己看甲遮细。所以圣经讲，一个人上困难是爱看家己看甲拄啊好。伤过自私，就是甲家己看甲足大声呢。讲我真伟大，无你拢爱帮助我，哦，啊伤过无家己无去啊，就是自卑，就是我足可怜的，你来同情我，你来拢无同情我。啊，这就是另外一种无健康的心态。一个人啦，这种心态无建立吼，伊伫婚姻的内面呢，会为别人带来真大的痛苦。哦，所以亲爱朋友，透过信用帮助咱知影要安怎处理咱家己的问题。好，下一集继续收看老三的节目。
小人伯啊，我咧讲吼，这有做吼交友网站，我即摆在算这啦吼。
用电脑交朋友。
对，啊，你替我看者，哦，太多啦，我把酒拢火去，今仔把酒拢火起来咧。嘿，
啊，你这电脑敢会当先红选看什么年纪是几岁到几岁之间？
当然嘛会使。
哦，啊，你先看你几岁？
哦，我要紧的哦，嘿，我要紧的，迄个20到40以内。
哦，啊，这种。册读偌悬会当算无？
哦，会读。
哦，
硕士甲博士。
哦，
出去。
对方的职业你有意见无？
哦，这职业我坦白讲，这是拢无意见。
哦，无差。无差，
拢无差着。只要有300万的存款，啊，就300万年薪就好啊。
好，有这款的哦。
嘿。
哦。
啊，这宗教信仰敢冇你选？
十人伯啊，你果然是我的知己，搁兼专家。
哦，是。
安尼就对啊。袂用会教。
哦，是安怎？
因为我爱食猪肉。
安尼爱考虑安尼。这新冠的方面，你有啥物迄落无条件？你有？
当然咯，这想嘛知，亲像我这体格阁好，人阁水，为了爱有好的基因，上无这个查甫人嘛都要180到200公分。
哦，你用这种方式交往，敢会通啊？
当然嘛会通，啊，这就该试试，啊，就验套，啊，就出去啊，当然嘛会通。
哦，哇，相片拢出来啊呢！
哦，对啊，你可以看，哦，相片遮多，你看，啊，这唔知是我看要安怎镜吼，你感觉？
这，我感觉怪怪的，我哪感觉亲像咧买物件，这男女唔是咧 shopping 呢？
嘿，这甲 shopping 是同意思的。我甲你讲，若讲到这 shopping 吼，甲这紧查甫朋友，这我上敖啦，这我熟悉啦。
老三拄才讲俩，讲这男女之间唔是，即嘛你咧选伊，但是伊嘛咧选你啊。
要笑死人！伊是要安怎选我？迄是伊藏在内面，我唔叫我都选伊，啊，我也无藏在内面啊，伊是要安怎选我？哦，对无？
啊，你这选了，啊那后悔要安怎？
这就是好处。这就敢若咱在迄个网络购物一样 ，shopping 同款。若无好，7天内，该 get out。
够有这款呢？你若用安尼想，你若既然咧买物件，规日你搁指定伊的什么血型啦，看是 AB 型啦，啥物你规日你拢指定。
对，我即马紧甲伊吼，即个网络公司吼，甲伊建议一下，叫伊吼爱从星座
8字，
有厝无拢甲伊囥入去，你唔才通个拣
朋友啊，这种谈恋爱方式，你认为敢会成功吗？
This is the land of the Bible, the modern state of Israel, still regarded by people all over the world as the Holy Land.
一个在美国播出超过40年的优质节目，探讨主题广泛而多元，使你更深刻地认识圣经历史、人文、地理风情，并透过真挚感人的见证与传记，带你进入充满惊奇的探索之旅。
7 different longings or desires that God put into the human spirit. The longing for the assurance that God enjoys us. When God the Holy Spirit reveals God the Father and God the Son to our hearts. Greatest pleasure available to our human makeup.
那我们就是得到说我们所能够得到一个最快乐的这样的一个经历。
现在所收看的是各 TV 好消息卫视台。接下来所收看的是空中英语教室。
to know what's new to do and who is who.
Studio Classroom is the place to be.
Come along and you will see connecting is the thing to do. Give your life a different view.
You can learn and you can share with people living everywhere.
Studio Classroom, the place to learn.
The place to grow.
Stay tuned and watch the show.
Hello and welcome to Studio Classroom. My name is Gabe.
I'm Carolyn.
And today also in the studio is Linda Ludwig. She wrote today's lesson about Komodo dragons, and she's also the editor of the Studio Classroom magazine, which I hope you have in your hands. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you, Gabe. It's very nice to be here with all of you today.
Well, today we are going to be learning about Komodo dragons. They are a large and dangerous animal. I wonder, what kind of large or dangerous animals have you seen in the wild? Carolyn?
Well, it was not a very large animal that I saw, but it was definitely dangerous. It was a copperhead snake, and I saw it while I was hiking in the United States. There are a lot in the area I'm from, and I was just walking along, and there it was. It was very scary.
That is definitely a dangerous animal. Linda, have you ever seen a large or scary or dangerous animal?
Well, I've seen all of them wrapped up into one. When I was in western United States, I saw an American buffalo. And that animal, unlike Carolyn's animal, is like 10 feet tall and very, very dangerous.
Well, some animals might appear to be harmless in the wild, but they're actually quite dangerous, kind of like a hippopotamus. If you go to a zoo, you might just see it walking around or swimming around, but it's considered to be one of the most dangerous animals out there. We're going to be learning all about the Komodo dragon today, so let's get started.
Komodo dragons. Meet the world's largest living lizard. Dangerous and deadly aptly describe the largest existing lizard species alive on Earth, the Komodo dragon. Listed as vulnerable to extinction on the International Union for Conservation of Nature's IUCN Red List of Threatened Species, they number less than 6,000. They mostly inhabit the islands of Indonesia's Komodo National Park, as well as some areas of Flores. These formidable predators devour deer, wild pigs, smaller dragons, water buffalo, and humans if given a chance. Their clay-colored scaly skin provides them with perfect camouflage as they lie on the brown earth among dead leaves waiting for unsuspecting prey. To seize their prey, the lizard's powerful legs spring into action, and their deadly bites leave little hope for the victim unless treated immediately.
Well, this does sound like a very powerful creature, and we see at the very beginning, meet the world's largest living lizard. So this is the largest lizard alive in the world today. And our first sentence says, dangerous and deadly aptly describe the largest existing lizard species alive on Earth, the Komodo dragon. And dangerous and deadly aptly describe the Komodo dragon. What does this word here mean, Gabe, this word aptly?
Well, it's from our word bank, and if you describe something aptly, that means it's a pretty good precise or exact description. So it aptly describes the largest living lizard. You could also use another word like this, apt. That's an adjective, and apt description is kind of a precise or exact description. How else might you use that word aptly?
Well, I could say beautiful aptly described Marilyn on her wedding day.
All right. Well, how else could you use that word aptly, Carolyn?
Well, I think that it is very apt that we are reading this article about Komodo dragons since Linda went there, but that is not quite aptly. This is apt, A-P-T.
That's right. There are different ways to use this word, different forms of this word, and dangerous and deadly aptly describe the largest existing lizard species alive on Earth, the Komodo dragon. How does the lesson continue?
We see listed as vulnerable to extinction on the International Union for Conservation of Nature's, the IUCN, Red List of Threatened Species. And here in this sentence, it's quite a long name, but before that we saw the word vulnerable and to extinction. This is a special usage of the word vulnerable. So Linda, could you please explain this word for us?
Certainly. This is an organization that tracks animals, kind of like the World Wildlife Federation. And they have a list of endangered species and vulnerable species. So they have a scale of how animals are rated according to their number and how many there are that are live on Earth. And right now the Komodo dragon is in the vulnerable species, which is right next to the extinct species or threatened to be extinct species. They actually used to be on the extinct list, and now they've moved up a little bit.
Well, that's good for the Komodo dragon. So they are vulnerable. They might die off in the future. We hope that doesn't happen, but they are on the vulnerable list. And they number less than 6,000, as our lesson says. That's not very many. Of course, you would not want to see all 6,000 in one place, but this is a vulnerable species.
And the article says they mostly inhabit the islands of Indonesia's Komodo National Park, as well as some areas of Flores. Well, I think now we can take some time to look at some pictures that Linda took while she was on Komodo Island.
Well, from those pictures, I can see how these animals might be dangerous and deadly. Well, we continue in the lesson. These formidable predators devour deer, wild pigs, smaller dragons, that is Komodo dragons, water buffalo, and humans if given a chance. Wow. Okay, before we talk about that sentence, we want to talk about that word, formidable. Carolyn, what does that word mean?
Well, if something is formidable, then it causes fear or alarm. It's something that's very scary, and we usually think of an opponent as maybe being formidable.
Okay. I also maybe think of a thunderstorm. Maybe you see some clouds in the distance and it can cause fear. It's a formidable storm, some formidable clouds. Linda, you got to see these Komodo dragons. You describe these as formidable?
Well, they are formidable. When you see them in the wild, you do not want to go near them. You have to stay at least 5 meters away from them because if they attack you, you don't have a chance.
Oh man, okay, you don't have a chance. Well, they are predators. That means they are dangerous. And at the very end of this sentence, we see a phrase, and humans if given a chance. They will attack humans if given a chance.
Well, you could say if he is given a chance, he might succeed in this project.
All right, and then as we can see, the Komodo dragons might attack humans if given a chance. We continue. Their clay-colored, scaly skin provides them with perfect camouflage as they lie on the brown earth among dead leaves, waiting for unsuspecting prey. So clay-colored, scaly skin, that's a good way to describe a kind of reptile or lizard as well. But Linda, what is unsuspecting prey?
Well, first of all, let's look at the word prey. Prey is the opposite of predator. A predator is the hunter and the prey is the hunted. And unsuspecting means, you know, an animal is just walking along or eating and they don't realize that they're going to be attacked.
All right, they don't realize it, they don't maybe expect it. They're unsuspecting. So these poor creatures might get attacked by a Komodo dragon. Well, Carolyn, how does the lesson continue?
Well, we see how they attack. To seize their prey, the lizard's powerful legs spring into action, and their deadly bites leave little hope for the victim unless treated immediately.
Wow, so it sounds like these creatures can kind of spring into action or jump. Linda, does that mean they can run as well?
Well, actually, Komodo dragons can run as fast as a dog, and that's one of the reasons that they're very dangerous. And their bite is deadly because they have about 50 kinds of bacteria, 50 or 60 is what I've heard, bacteria in their mouth. So when they bite, it becomes infected.
Wow. Dangerous and deadly indeed. We're learning a lot about the Komodo dragon. Let's continue learning with Michelle in the language lab, and then we'll take a break.
嗨，大家好，我是 Michelle。这篇文章的第一个重点，我们来看 vulnerable 这个形容词。vulnerable 是指脆弱的，或者是容易受伤害的。如果要说明针对哪个事物容易受伤害的话，是用 to 这个介系词。例如 ，this kind of material is vulnerable to heat。这种材质对高温很脆弱。它的名词是 vulnerability。vulnerability， 意思是指脆弱或者是易受伤害。例如 ，the engineers are trying to reduce the system's vulnerability to viruses。工程师们正尝试降低这个系统被病毒攻击的可能性。继续我们看的是 formidable 这个形容词 ，formidable 是指强大的或者是可畏的。例如 ，this quarterback is a formidable opponent， 这位四分卫是个令人可畏的对手。或者是 Charles is a formidable intellect， Charles 的才智惊人。或者是 setting up a branch office is a formidable challenge， 设立分公司是一个艰巨的任务。
寻找的过程其实就是爱情的过程。爱情在上帝的创造当中找到了那个世界，找到了滋润的土壤。不要害怕去爱人，不要害怕被爱。爱情是上帝赐给人非常奇妙的礼物。
I lost a patient this week. He was too healthy and too young to die, but he did. Sometimes I don't understand life. I almost never understand death.
Yes, I took a wrong turn somewhere along the way. But the Bible said, seek and you
Being a good doctor is about a whole lot more than just knowing medicine.
I
can't believe you do all this with a complete stranger.
To turn to fear when I finally found my way back home his way.
健康新主流，美味难以找。
想要在家乐活轻松料理吗？
想要知道最新最硬的创意家庭美食吗？
敬请锁定健康新主流。
We're learning all about Komodo dragons today, and though they are listed as some vulnerable species, there are only less than 6,000 left in the wild, these creatures are formidable. You do not want to get around them. You don't want to be part of their unsuspecting prey. We have more to learn about these dangerous and deadly creatures, the Komodo dragons. Let's read the second part of our lesson today.
Komodo dragons. The dragons will follow a bitten water buffalo about a month, waiting for it to succumb to the venomous bite. Their keen sense of smell enables the dragons to detect the scent of blood up to 10 kilometers. The females lay from 15 to 30 eggs in ground nests that they have overtaken from wild turkey-like birds. The mothers then lie near their nest, protecting the eggs until hatched. According to the park ranger, only 3 to 5 newborns survive due to predators, including their own cannibal mothers. Upon hatching, the babies climb trees, build nests, and survive on birds and insects until they are big enough to survive in the dragon world below.
Well, being a baby Komodo dragon sounds a little bit dangerous. We see in this first sentence here, the dragons will follow a bitten water buffalo about a month, waiting for it to succumb to the venomous bite. Oh, that sounds a little bit scary. What can you tell us about this sentence, Linda?
Well, we see here that the water buffalo obviously is quite a bit larger than a Komodo dragon. Komodo dragons are about 10 feet, can be up to 10 feet in length, and they can actually eat about 80 kilos at one feeding, I suppose.
Oh, man.
But they can't take down a water buffalo. So as we talked about earlier, when they bite the dragon, they infect it. When they bite the water buffalo, they infect it, and the water buffalo becomes weaker and weaker. It takes about a month, our guide told us, before the water buffalo will die, and then the Komodo dragon will eat it.
So then it succumbs to this venomous bite, and we have this word succumb, and what does that mean, Gabe?
Well, it means to give in to the power of something, and usually I think of this as maybe against your will. You don't want to give in, but you eventually succumb. I might say she succumbed to the salesman after he talked with her for a while and he persuaded her to buy the product. She finally succumbed and bought it.
And here the water buffalo succumbs to the venomous bite, this deadly bite of the Komodo dragon. Continuing in our article, we see their keen sense of smell enables the dragon to detect the scent of blood up to 10 kilometers. So they can smell blood from 10 kilometers away.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you don't have a cut on your body somewhere. Does this happen ever?
Well, apparently a couple of months before we got there, a Komodo dragon actually did attack somebody visiting the island. They actually attacked the park ranger who was protecting the person, because that person did have like some cut or blood, and they went after the blood.
Wow, that sounds very scary. Be careful around these Komodo dragons, friends, if you do have a chance to visit this national park. Right now it's time for us to visit Steve and Ken in the information cloud.
Dragons are ancient, mythical creatures that play a large role in the cultures of both the East and the West.
But the two cultures' creatures are really quite different. In the West, dragons are thought of as destructive, poisonous, fire-breathing monsters that are to be feared and killed.
Now contrast them with the dragons of China, which are portrayed as wise and powerful, gentle and even playful. They're creatures that bring good fortune.
The two dragons look different too. Chinese dragons resemble snakes with legs, whereas Western dragons look more like winged dinosaurs.
As different as they are, many people, Westerners especially, mistakenly lump the two dragons together, simply because they share the same name. So to them, the Chinese dragon is just as violent and evil as its Western counterpart.
So to save the reputation of the respectable Chinese dragon, a group of Chinese scholars have pushed to introduce a new word into the English language, a word that would clear up the confusion and distinguish the good Chinese dragon from its wicked cousin in the West.
Now, should they be successful, the Chinese dragon's new English name would be Long, spelled L-O-N-G.
今天这一课介绍印尼的科莫多巨蜥，它的英文名称是 Komodo dragon。dragon 是龙，但西方的 dragon 跟东方的龙其实有相当大的差别。在西方 dragon 是一个有着一对大翅膀、四肢粗壮、凶恶的一个巨兽，那它是一个邪恶的象征。而中国的龙呢，没有翅膀，但头上有一对角，身体是瘦长的。在中国，龙是正义吉祥的象征，也是中华文化特有的标志。所以两种龙的象征意义正好相反。西方人还习惯把中国的龙称为 Chinese dragon， 但因为 dragon 带着负面的含义，有些中国学者呢就提出把中国龙的英文翻译改为发音和中文接近的 long。L-O-N-G， 但是目前呢还是没有得到广泛的认可。这就是今天的 Info Cloud， 我们下次云端见。
In our article, we see the females lay from 15 to 30 eggs in ground nests that they have overtaken from wild turkey-like birds. So they lay quite a few eggs, and then the mothers then lie near their nests, protecting the eggs until hatched. So they sound like very protective mothers.
They sound like very protective mothers so far. Linda, what else can we find out about these?
Well, actually, our guide also told us that the mothers don't leave the nest. So the only time they can even lie there for a month without eating. So that's why the prey that come by might be snatched by them. Because of the camouflage that we read about earlier, you can't really see them.
Interesting. Well, definitely do be careful around these creatures. We continue with our lesson. According to the park ranger, only 3 to 5 newborns survive due to predators, including their own cannibal mothers. Wow. Let's talk about that word cannibal. If you are, well, not if you are a cannibal, but if a creature is a cannibal, that means it eats its own kind. Can you tell us anything else about this, Linda?
Well, they are cannibal mothers, and also the other Komodo dragons also eat the babies. That's one of the reasons the mother lies there for such a long time, to protect them from other dragons, but then they turn and eat their own.
Wow. Okay. So these mothers can also be cannibal mothers. How do we continue, Carolyn?
Well, we see upon hatching, the babies climb trees, build nests, and survive on birds and insects until they are big enough to survive in the dragon world below. So it's a big challenge for these baby dragons to survive.
Right. They actually climb palm trees that have a soft inside, and they live there for like 2 to 3 years until they are, to me it's amazing, they are big enough to live below.
All right, well, we've learned a lot about these deadly and dangerous creatures, the Komodo dragon. Now it's time for us to continue learning something with Liz in the grammar gym, and then we'll go see Michelle.
Welcome to the Grammar Gym, friends. My name is Liz. Our nature article today talks about Komodo dragons. And the writer mentions, upon hatching, the babies climb trees. That's a grammar tip sentence. Our focus today is on the word upon. In this case, it means at that moment. So what the writer is saying is, baby Komodo dragons come out of the eggs, they climb trees. This use of upon is usually in formal situations like in writing or when you're giving a speech. For example, upon hearing the good news of his promotion, Timothy called his parents to let them know. Or, upon seeing the mess in the living room, Cynthia knew her kids were home. Now, it's your turn to practice using upon. Can you think of something that happens the moment a situation takes place? And that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining me here at the Grammar Gym. This is Liz. I'll see you next time.
OK， 接下来我们看的是 succumb 这个动词，注意它的重音是在第2个音节，而且字尾的 b 是不发音的，念成 succumb。succumb 是指屈服于或者是死于，后面加上介系词 to， 再加上受词。例如 ，After years of treatment, Vivian succumbed to cancer last year。经过几年的治疗 ，Vivian 去年死于癌症。或者是 We refuse to succumb to the enemy's threats。我们拒绝屈服于敌人的威胁之下。 所以我们看的是 venomous 这个形容词 ，venomous 是指有毒的或者是分泌毒液的。例如 ，this venomous spider can kill a small animal in seconds。这种有毒的蜘蛛可以在几秒内杀死一只小型的动物。venomous 也指恶毒的或者是很毒的。例如 ，these venomous personal attacks on the web wounded her so much。这些网络上恶毒的人身攻击让她深受伤害。And now let's return to our teachers.
Today we have learned a lot about this formidable predator, the Komodo dragon. But I'm sure that there is a lot more information that you weren't able to include in this article, right, Linda?
Well, yes, and I'll tell you a couple of more very interesting features about the Komodo dragon. We read in the first paragraph that they live in Indonesia in Komodo Island National Park, or Komodo National Park, and that is a group of islands. And Komodo dragons swim. So if they run out of food on one island, they can swim to another island to look for other food. And their only natural enemy in the wild is the snake. And I really don't think they care much.
Well, if they are such great predators and very strong, powerful creatures, I don't think a snake would be too big of a worry for them.
You might be right. Well, we want to thank you for joining us today, learning all about the Komodo dragon. And thank you for joining us, Linda.
It's been my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you next time right here at Studio Classroom. See you later.
Bye.
即日起，透过 Android、iPhone 两大系统手机，都可以进入 Good TV 行动电视 APP， 随时随地收看好消息。在 Good TV 行动电视 APP 里，您不但可以收看与电视同步的直播节目，还有众多精选内容供您观赏。同时，透过分享的功能，您可以随时把福音的好消息传给更多亲朋好友。Good TV 行动电视时代来临，请您立即下载 Good TV 行动电视 APP。
我们的亲人还在的时候，就要有一个好的一个见证，真的是一个孝敬父母亲孝敬我们长辈的。
从小就了解，去贴近人家的思考，贴近人家的需要。将来不管做什么行业，这都是对他最大的助力。
父母如果真的爱孩子，他这为孩子好，你要知道，就是让孩子一生找到一个意义。
真正的需要除以相对的比较哈，然后加上感恩的 double， 你才会有喜乐。
下来所收看的是健康